I'm here with my colleague Pierre-Paul Huss this morning to, of course, talk about sneaky Mark Carney's performance at last night's Liberal leadership debate. But first, I just want to briefly talk about the bad news that we received yesterday that Donald Trump plans to move ahead with devastating and unjust tariffs on Canada. Canada was given a 30-day reprieve from these tariffs. And where have the Carney-Trudeau Liberals been for the last month? Well, they haven't been in the House of Commons, where they could have passed a bring-it-home tax cut, where they could have repealed their anti-pipeline bill, C-69. They haven't been here where they could have canceled their job-killing, food bank line driving carbon tax. Instead, they've been focused on internal party matters, while this pressing issue is in front of Canadians. And so the question to the Carney-Trudeau Liberals tonight is, what are they going to do in the next week after having squandered the last 3 weeks where they should have been preparing to deal with President Trump's unjust tariffs? Now, last night we saw Carbon Tax Carney speak to Canadians, and what did he have to say? Well, it's always something different, but he was unclear last night about his shadow carbon tax and what that's going to cost Canadians, what it's going to cost them when they're buying groceries, when they're buying gas. How many Canadian jobs is his shadow carbon tax going to cost? He's had multiple chances to clarify, was pressed on it last night, and he refused. He's claimed that he plans to balance the budget, but he's also saying he's going to keep all of Justin Trudeau's inflationary and out-of-control spending. He's also said that he's going to use a sneaky accounting trick by putting half the spending on one credit card, the other half on another, and then hiding it behind his back. He hasn't been clear with Canadians about how he plans to do that accounting. And we know that even though he was pressed last night, he won't be clear with Canadians about his plans for energy independence for Canada, for our ability to get our natural resources to market. Saying one thing in English in British Columbia, and that's that he would use emergency powers to drive projects like pipelines east-west in this country, and then saying the opposite in French while in Quebec. And then last night, not being clear about what he plans to do. Tonight is the last chance that Carbon Tax Carney has to come clean with Canadians instead of trying to dodge and duck what his real plans are. Canadians deserve answers, because in a matter of weeks, the leader of this Liberal contest, not having been elected by Canadians, will become Canada's Prime Minister. We need to have accountability from them. And Canada's Prime Minister should be able to speak clearly, not just to Canadians in both official languages, but to our allies and to our partners around the world. And last night, Mark Carney demonstrated he's unable to do that on a matter that couldn't be more important, saying that he agrees with Hamas. Now, do I think that Mark Carney agrees with Hamas? No, but he certainly did create some uncertainty, because he wasn't able to be clear in one of Canada's 2 official languages about whether or not he supports a murderous terrorist death cult like Hamas. Canadians need answers. Canadians deserve accountability. Tonight is Carbon Tax Carney's last chance to come clean with Canadians, and we look forward to hearing him pressed hard by journalists tonight, because he's been avoiding opportunities to talk to the media, running away last night when he was pressed in French during his media scrum. And so we're going to be watching tonight and look to see what Canadians can expect from sneaky Mark Carney.
I have a question. I'm wondering, were you at all surprised at how liberal, or at how united the Liberals appeared to be on various policies, and how they spent a lot of time attacking your leader? Was that surprising to you?
I think it's surprising that no one on the stage pressed for the actual position of Carbon Tax Carney on any of the items that I mentioned, whether it's on who is going to pay for his shadow carbon tax on Canadians, how he plans to balance the budget while keeping all of the inflationary and out-of-control spending of Justin Trudeau, on his position on pipelines being different in English than it is in French, on immigration, how he refused to offer a concrete number while saying that he plans to have a cap, or on crime, and the list goes on. So it's not surprising to me that Liberals choose to take the path of unaccountability. We've seen that with sneaky Mark Carney and his refusal to disclose to Canadians what his potential conflicts of interest are. This is a guy who was Justin Trudeau's senior economic advisor, and all the while the company that he chaired was taking decisions and engaged in discussions, whether it was the $10 billion pension scheme that they were going to be involved with, whether it was on heat pumps, or on his role on the board of Stripe, and Stripe being shielded from the government while they were gouging Canadians. So Liberals seem to favor the path of unaccountability. Tonight is the opportunity for Mark Carney to come clean with Canadians, and I don't think that we can expect other Liberals to hold him to account. That's why we're here today. Put these questions forward and see if he's prepared to do the right thing, to be accountable to Canadians, and to come clean.
Last question.
You keep mentioning the fact that Mr. Carney's not elected. Do you think that people should have to have a seat in Parliament to run for leadership of a federal party?
It's very clear that we have a problem with the rules as they exist, because Mark Carney can be sneaky about what his business dealings are and what his potential conflicts of interest are. And when these rules were designed by Conservatives, we couldn't have imagined the lengths that Liberals would go to in the future to avoid accountability. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Mark Carney. This is his sneakiness on full display. We have an expectation in this country that people will be transparent, that elected officials will be transparent with Canadians, and that's a very straightforward ask of common sense ask by Canada's Conservatives, that he come clean with Canadians on this and on all of the issues that we've listed today. Thank you very much.